Hey guys, so today I want to speak to you about how to make passive income, okay? This particular topic of passive income is a popular one, but it's one that I want to be very, very clear on. The ideas we're going to be talking about today are not 100% passive. So you're going to have some initial work that goes into establish the ideas, and then there'll be some ongoing work to maintain and continue generating an income from these ideas. So straight up, these ideas are partially passive income ideas, okay? I'm going to be sharing with you 5 online-based ideas and 2 offline-based ideas. But what I want to do with today's video is to go very deep, okay? So I'm going to share with you what the idea is for each one, what the idea is, the pros of the idea, the cons of the idea, and finally, how do you get started today if you wanted to explore any one of these ideas. Sound good? If that sounds amazing, hit the like button, give me a signal that you are really loving the vibes from today's video. Okay guys, so the very first idea I wanted to share is the idea of starting a membership website, okay? So what is a membership website? Think of it as a normal website, but except this website has a paywall on it, okay? So normally you visit a normal website and you browse and so on, but this particular website, instead of it just being one that you can browse, you would have some information you can browse, but the vast majority of the information on the website is premium content that lives behind a paywall. This particular idea is suitable if you are somebody who has a particular expertise. Let's say that you are a baker and you've come up with a particular method for baking cakes or various products. You might want to take that very specialized knowledge or expertise and distribute your idea to lots of people, but via a membership website. You might be somebody who works in social care. You might be somebody who works in accountancy or in law, for example. You might want to provide legal services to business owners, for example. You could create a membership business such that they could access contracts and various things that they need to run their particular businesses. So what are the pros? The pros are that number one, it is highly reliable. So every month you get monthly income from different members. It leads to you generating multiple streams of income because your income comes from different members every single month. So your income is diversified in that sense. Number 2, it's also highly scalable because once you've created this membership website, the more members you add to the website, the more it actually grows when it comes to income, but you're not necessarily spending so much more money to grow that membership. You're spending some money on marketing, but you're not spending a whole lot. What are the cons on the other hand? The cons are that because you've created this environment where people are coming for your expertise, it means that you have to keep creating content on an ongoing basis. But that's not really much of a huge deal because if you are super passionate about what you're doing, then you'd love to keep sharing something that takes people on a journey every single month. All right, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a demonstration. So here you've got memberships. Here's an example for you. So imagine you've got a membership where you're charging £25 per month, which is actually pretty common, and you've got 100 members within your membership, okay? That would lead to you generating income of £2,500 per month from that particular membership. Remember, you can do this part-time. Whilst doing a full-time job, this could be a side hustle. Now imagine that number went up to 1,000, for example, just making it up. And this is actually possible. There are memberships with thousands and thousands of members. £25 per month times 1,000 obviously will give you £25,000 per month in monthly revenue, okay? The question then becomes, how do you market something like this to start to generate monthly income from it? Okay, here are some very common ways in which membership websites can be marketed to help them to grow and keep generating income on a monthly basis. One is through organic marketing. So for example, you might create a YouTube channel, you might create a blog, you might have a podcast. All those various avenues could be ways in which you could generate what's known as traffic organically and market your membership as transparently as possible. Another way you could do it is through paid advertising. For example, you could advertise here on YouTube or advertise via Facebook ads or via other various avenues, provided you know where your ideal customers are. A very popular place that people advertise typically is on Facebook, depending on the type of person that they are trying to attract, okay? Another way is through challenges. You could create a challenge that gives people an introduction to what your membership is about. It gives them a bit of a flavor for what that membership could offer them. And if they really like it, they might then choose to perhaps join your membership on that basis, having gained a bit of an experience of it. Another way is through referrals. You might have existing members within your membership, and if they really like what you're offering, they could refer other people to your membership and generate a bit of an affiliate marketing commission, which we're going to be talking about later on. And by doing that, your membership grows quite cheaply by the members within your membership actually marketing it for you, okay? And of course, there are other examples that you could use to market a membership business, but I want to just give you guys some real practical examples of ways that you might want to go about growing something like this specifically. Okay, so now that I've explained that, how would you actually get started with a membership business, okay? I think that one of the best ways, given that we've actually done this ourselves, one of the best ways to actually go about doing this is almost look for the intersection between something that you are passionate about in some way, but this is not really the main thing, but you've got to have an interest in it and have a desire to do it. But more importantly, something that you are talented at, okay? Something that you have some kind of specialized knowledge and skill, but even more importantly, something to which there is demand for, okay? Ideally, something that has an established marketplace, and you've gone away and actually assessed, brainstormed that area of passion, area of expertise and talent, and that a demand actually exists for that thing. That demand leads to you creating essentially a form of a minimum viable product. Essentially, what would your idea be about? What would be the value proposition? What would that membership offer people for them to be able to exchange that to then pay you monthly, okay? You then need to go away and actually validate that idea. That then becomes the beginning stages of you getting together an idea for a membership idea, which then needs to go through an entire process of you trying to explore the various bits of technology that you might need to use to actually build that membership product for yourself. Okay, all that to say, this is actually a fantastic idea, okay? Like all things, it takes work to actually get started. And obviously, as I mentioned at the start of this video, it does require ongoing work for it to keep being built up, okay? So it's not 100% passive and you're sitting at the beach and doing nothing. No, every month you do have to create something. But my honest experience of this is that it's a really reliable way to generate an income. It's actually an ethical way for you to also generate an income whilst also using the skills you have to actually solve their problems. The second passive income idea is one that you've probably heard of a lot, but I want to really go a bit deeper with it today. It's affiliate marketing. Now, affiliate marketing is a process whereby you or me as an individual might promote somebody else's products and thereby generate a commission for doing it. As affiliates, we're effectively middlemen, okay? So we might like a particular product because we've either used it or we have some experience of it in some way, or we just love that product. And if they offer an affiliate program, we may be able to sign up for that program and generate a commission by doing so. Pros of affiliate marketing is that it is scalable, okay? If you get it right, you can find a product that you love, and if you promote it via various social channels, via email marketing, I'm going to talk about some of the ways in which you can promote it. For example, in a minute, you could actually find yourself generating affiliate income on an ongoing basis. It could even become pretty significant in a thousands, or even if you become really a huge expert at this, could become tens of thousands of pounds or dollars, okay? We promote affiliates here on this channel. You might see some links when we recommend various books to you guys, or when we recommend various products to you guys. We work with various brands that we might mention, the likes of PensionBee, for example, which we actually use. We might promote that, and by doing that, we then generate a small commission by referring that product when somebody perhaps uses that product or joins that particular product. Now, the pros of affiliate marketing is that it's actually pretty easy for you to get started with affiliate marketing, and it can be scalable, as I mentioned before. But the cons of affiliate marketing is that affiliate marketing can be pretty challenging if you do not know what you are doing, okay? The vast majority of people who do affiliate marketing actually don't generate any income, and there are reasons for that. People who do affiliate marketing essentially promote products in the wrong ways. They promote them without transparency, and they just want to do everything possible to earn the highest levels of affiliate marketing without actually really caring what happens after they've earned those commissions. Now, in terms of how you actually get started, okay, top tips is for you to actually find a product that you find useful or a product that you love or have practical experience of. Now, this is not a prerequisite, but it's one that I highly recommend. It's a way in which I would approach affiliate marketing. Now, in terms of actually marketing the affiliates, there are different strategies for actually doing it. Let's say you found a particular product, and let's say you have a bit of an audience, or you have, a group on, say, WhatsApp, or, on social media. There are different strategies that you can go about using to market a particular affiliate. So one is obviously socials, talking about a product genuinely on social media, and obviously making sure that you disclose very clearly that you are promoting that product as an affiliate, using maybe a hash ad, for example. But one of the most powerful ways of actually promoting an affiliate is via an email list. Okay, so you might notice that a lot of online entrepreneurs might build a bit of an email list, and the reason they do that is because that email list is actually something that they own. A lot of them who have social channels don't actually own those social channels, but one thing they do own is a way for them to have ongoing dialogue with their various followers and their audience members. Okay, so via an email list, the key to actually making a lot of money via an email list is that you can promote those products on autopilot, because you can find ways via an email marketing system to automate the promotion of a particular affiliate product. So you can build things called evergreen email campaigns is a way in which you actually make an income here. You can write a credible review of a product, making sure your review is obviously balanced. People who come across that review feel that you are actually being balanced in your review of a particular affiliate product. Another one is that you can do an interview. This is where you might interview someone who is one of the creators of the product, or somebody who's from the company for which that product was created. Kind of ask them what their motivation was for creating that product. And then obviously through that interview, you might then be able to say, hey guys, please feel free to check out my link below, making it clear that this is obviously an affiliate product and that you would earn a commission by doing so. My biggest tip by far when it comes to affiliate marketing is to be 100% transparent. Okay, nothing beats being honest when it comes to promoting a particular product. Also worth mentioning that key to actually generate an income via affiliate marketing is by you having your own platform as well. So having a blog is massively important. Bloggers make a lot of money from affiliate marketing. YouTubers make a lot of money from affiliate marketing. So you can see by having these various platforms, there are other ways in which you can actually drive traffic to a particular product and thereby earn a cut of the income that comes from that particular sale. Okay, so far we've been talking about online ideas, and we've got 3 more to go. The third one is to create digital products, okay? So you can notice a theme going on here. First was memberships, next was affiliates, now digital products. Again, this is another way in which you package your knowledge and you're able to then generate an income from that particular product that you create. So you put the energy into creating that product once, and then that product gets to then be sold time and time again. Obviously, it needs to be in an environment where it gets found, an environment where it's visible, but provided that product is visible and is found, you can sell that product on an ongoing basis via various platforms, which it could include your own website, or it could include you listing those digital products on other websites, such as on Gumroad or on Etsy and so on. Okay, so examples of things you can create here are ebooks, for example. They're very, very popular, or other forms of digital download such as spreadsheets, calendars, planners, and so on. So pros of these digital products are that they are fairly easy to make. It takes you a bit of a while to actually create a digital product, but it's actually fairly easy to create using platforms like Canva for your graphics, and so on. And secondly, you can generate a form of passive income from it. So say, for example, once you've created a product, you might get a notification from your phone telling you that you sold a particular product, and you might then get paid instantly as a result of doing that. And that could then carry on happening on an ongoing basis every other day or every other week or month. Cons of creating digital products is that you actually have to put the time in. For someone who is not technologically savvy, or somebody who's not used to creating a digital product, it might mean that you might need to hire somebody to help you out. So you can find people quite easily on Upwork. It will require you being somewhat creative, putting up an ad on Upwork or other platforms. Second con worth mentioning is that you have to keep marketing your product for it to be sold and generate you an income. Unless, of course, you put your product into a marketplace, some of which I mentioned earlier, such as Etsy or Gumroad, for it to then be discovered. But by putting it into those marketplaces, you are therefore sharing the revenue with those platforms. If you're somebody who's created their own platform like we have, we've got our own website, our own social platforms, obviously we've got this YouTube channel. If we ever sold a digital product, we actually get to keep 100% of the sale. But note, we had to put in the work in the first place to be able to create a platform and therefore keep 100% of the income from it. Okay, so keeping this really practical, imagine you created a planner of some sort or an Excel spreadsheet or even an ebook that really offers people a lot of value. Let's say it's priced at £7, for example, and you manage through promoting that product on an ongoing basis and you sold around 100 of it per month, okay? It would mean that you generate an income of around £700 per month. But note, most importantly, that you had to put in the effort. So there would have been some costs, some outlay initially to actually create this product, which often, to be very frank, isn't really that much. It might be a few £100, about £200 to £300 to actually create a product itself. But you can see how quickly that could pay itself back and carry on generating ongoing income, provided, as I mentioned before, you carry on marketing that product and making sure that it's visible in order for people to actually purchase it. Again, to get started, as I mentioned before, with a membership side hustle or business, you'd have to do exactly the same things. You'd have to be an intersect between your passions, your talents, and demand. I call that the 3 seed formula. 3 things need to go in order for you to come to that place where you identify something that might be something that people want, okay? You then take that idea and that piece of research you've done, and you might then begin to create a bit of a digital product. In fact, one thing I highly recommend that people actually do before they go ahead and create their digital product is to try and pre-sell that digital product, okay? Because if you're able to pre-sell something to someone and say, hey, I'll offer it to you at a bit of a discount, but here's the concept, here's my sales page, here's a product that I'm creating, you might then start to get people purchase it potentially, and that might then give you the opportunity of creating it knowing that there's actually demand for it. Idea number 4 for passive income is to create an online course. Again, this takes the same format as all the others. Again, it's based on experience, it's based on specialized knowledge, something that you've acquired by doing something or learning something, but you're now taking that knowledge and packaging it into an online course and thereby going off and selling it. Online courses are typically a bit more involved. You tend to spend a bit more time, a bit more resources on an online course and therefore charge a higher price as a result of doing it. A lot of online courses are now video-based, okay, compared to ebooks and various other digital products that you could download. Now notice so far all the ideas I've mentioned don't live in isolation, okay? When it comes to passive income, you have to actually begin with one idea, okay? Don't try to pick 2 or 3 of these and have a go at doing them. Just pick one idea and focus on it. But once you start to gather some momentum and gather some progress, you might then want to explore a second idea. Pros of online courses is that you can generate a significant amount of money from online courses. So a decent price for an online course is $197 or £197, for example. Okay, that's a decent price online course. And they could go as far as £997 or even more. It really comes down to how much value you are offering with your online course. We've been on this journey ourselves. I remember our very first online course actually took me forever. It's a program called Fire Superpower, something we created for teaching people how to create their personalized plan for financial independence. I remember it took forever creating this online course. I think it must have taken between 4 and 6 months. Pretty much forever in my own world. But today, because I've had that experience of creating an online course before, I can now create online courses a lot quicker, particularly as I have to do them anyway for our membership program and things of that nature. The second pro of online courses is that once you've created it, that's it, okay? You then start to generate an income from it by promoting that course on an ongoing basis. Note, again, I have to keep stressing it, it's not 100% passive, okay? Because you still have to put the work in to promote that particular online course. But like I mentioned before, you can have your courses on various platforms. It could be on your own website, or you could host it on places like Udemy, or even courses created on places like Skillshare, for example. Cons of online courses is that it takes a while to create an online course, okay? There's no running away from that. You do have to put the time in, you have to put the effort in, and you really have to be committed to seeing your online course become a reality. A second con of online courses is that if you don't promote your online course, it does not get sold. But the beauty of the online course is that if you've built yourself up a bit of an audience, even a small audience who really know you, like you, and trust you, provided you are giving them lots and lots of value, and your online course actually helps them to solve a specific problem, carry on building that audience up over time by maybe making YouTube videos or creating various blog posts, or maybe even sharing on social media, or maybe having your own podcast, you are then going to be able to continually sell your online course over time. Okay, so keeping it really practical again, here is a scenario. Here you're selling a course. Let's say you've created a course of maybe anything between 25 and maybe 40 videos, for example, short courses, short lessons and so on, and you're pricing it at say £197 or even dollars. Let's say you've sold, you have a really successful launch. Let's just say, so 100 of those courses, you'd be looking to generate £19,700 from your efforts from promoting that particular course. So you can see it really does matter, because for every one you're selling, you're making almost £200 each and every time. And of course, this is where the passive element comes in. So you are still putting the work in, so it's not fully passive, but you could see a scenario where, if you're someone who's building up a bit of an audience and your audience is growing and growing and growing, and let's say you're converting a certain percentage of your audience, maybe a 1% or 2% of your audience, into purchasing your online course, then you could see a scenario where you are potentially generating thousands or tens of thousands of pounds or dollars from selling an online course on a monthly basis. Again, to get started, I'll refer you back to what I said previously on combining your passion, talent, but most importantly, demand, okay? And the other point I made around pre-selling is particularly useful for online courses. So instead of putting all the energy or the effort into creating an online course, one strategy for making sure that you're definitely going to be selling that online course is to create a sales page and pre-sell that course, offer it at a bit of a discount and get the demand in. Once you've got people pre-selling that course, you can then start to create it and maybe start to drip feed that course as you create it on a week by week basis. Okay, idea number 5 is dividend income investing. Okay, this is where you invest money in the stock market, but you're investing it primarily to generate income by way of dividend. So imagine you've got an investment that you're making. You're investing, say, making it up in stock A. Okay, let's just say that's the name of an investment that you're making. Okay, and let's say the share price of that particular stock is £2 per share. Okay, and you are receiving dividends, because dividends are usually paid out in pence per share. So if you've got X number of shares, you might be paid, say, 10 pence per share. Then you take the number of pence you're paid, multiplied by the number of shares you're getting to work out the amount of dividend that you're getting. I'm going to go into an example in a minute, okay? So effectively, the dividend is a share of profits from a company, okay? So companies, when they generate profits in a year, might choose to pay some of those profits to shareholders on a quarterly basis or on an annual basis, for example. Okay, let's say in this example, you're receiving dividends per share that you have of 10 pence per share. One very important metric when it comes to dividend income investing is this metric of the dividend yield, because that's taking the dividend per share that you're receiving, so how much you've been paid per share, divided by the share price. So in this case, you work out that you have a dividend yield, i.e. the return you're getting from investing your money for dividend income is 5% as a dividend yield. Okay, hang in there with me. This is going to make some sense, okay? So let's say you've invested £20,000 in a dividend income stock or a series of stocks offering you on average a dividend yield of 5%, some returns of 5%, okay? So let's say you've invested 20 grand, 5% of £20,000 is £1,000, okay? So you've received a yield, you've earned a dividend of £1,000. And you could go as far as, actually keeping it really, really simple without any complications, you could go as far as reinvesting that £1,000, okay? And therefore generating, so you say you reinvested it at the £2 per share price I mentioned before. So £1,000 at £2 per share would buy you 500 shares. And those 500 shares at 10 pence per share will then generate you a total dividend of £50. So notice what's going on here. Not only is your original money generating you some dividends, but by you reinvesting that money, that dividend you've generated, you are also then over time having that money also generate its own dividend, because you use that money you generated to buy some more shares to actually generate its own dividend as well. So in this example, not only is your 20 grand generating a dividend of £1,000 in a given year, the £1,000, if you reinvest that, is also generating you a dividend of £50 in this example. Okay, so you might end up with £1,050 as dividend income coming from you investing your 20,000 and the additional 1,000 that you might have generated. A simple way of working this out is simply to take 5% being the dividend yield of the total of the 20 and the 1,000. So 5% of 21,000 should give you £1,050 as what you generate as dividend income. Okay, so I'm just giving you this illustration as just an example, but you can see how this could become quite significant provided you're actually able to generate a 5% dividend yield, okay? Now, I hope this illustration starts to give you an idea of how and why dividend income investing could be pretty powerful. We've done a very detailed video actually on dividend income investing, which I'll link to below and above if you want to go ahead and learn a bit more about this particular topic. So pros of dividend income investing is that you're not doing any work whatsoever, okay? What you do need though is some money, okay? So although the pro is that you are generating dividends simply by investing your money, the con, on the other hand, is that you actually need money for this to become significant over time. And obviously, the more money you have invested, the more significant the dividends are that you generate over time. Okay, that brings us to the end of the 5 online-based ideas, okay? Now I'm going to focus on the remaining 2 ideas, which are offline-based ideas. And the very first one I want to mention is property investing, okay? This is in no way typical passive income idea, because to invest in property means you've got to do some work, okay? But the only way you do get this to be somewhat passive is if you have your properties managed by a management company, okay? That's the only way it becomes somewhat partially passive, because I know people will go on and say, no, it's not passive at all. And I completely agree with you, but it does become somewhat passive if you have it completely, fully managed for you and your numbers stack up, obviously, when you work out the returns that you generate from property. Now, in terms of different ways in which you can invest in property here in the UK, there are different methods. You can have a house of multiple occupancy where you buy a property and you're obviously letting that property out to many different people living in different rooms, for example, and generating your income that way. You can have a typical traditional buy-to-let of letting your property to either a family or a couple or a single individual, or you can go via rent-to-rent where you're not actually owning the property yourself, but you've identified a property that you can rent at a particular value, offering guaranteed rent to a particular owner or a landlord. And by taking that property and doing it up and offering a bit more value, you're able to then rent that property at a much higher price and so on. And therefore you're able to explore the profits that come from renting out that property. And there are other strategies that you can explore as well from a property investing perspective. Pros of property investing is, number one, is that you don't need to put up all the money to actually invest in property. Property benefits from the power of leverage because you are borrowing money from a bank, and that therefore amplifies the returns that you generate from investing in property itself. If you get it right with property investing, you could potentially have good tenants and generate rental income on an ongoing basis without any problems. But a con is that, you'd never have peace with property necessarily. Okay, you might have peace for a while, but you have those periods where you experience voids and things happen. You have to change a boiler and so on. And of course, a con is tax. Tax is a massive issue, here in the UK and probably in other parts of the world. But here in the UK, if you're a higher rate taxpayer or an additional rate taxpayer, it becomes not quite as beneficial. Depending if you're trying to have that property under your name, it becomes not quite as beneficial investing in buy-to-let properties or in other properties because of the tax burden, okay? Which is why a lot of people are exploring other ways of investing in property legally and tax efficiently, perhaps via limited companies and so on. Even when they do that, they're really doing it as much more of a retirement vehicle rather than necessarily for passive income purposes. So it's definitely worth stressing that particular point. We've made a bunch of videos previously on, exploring buying, property via limited companies. I'm going to link to that below and above. We've also made another video exploring whether as a first-time buyer, you should look into buying your own home first, or whether you should look to buy a buy-to-let investment as an alternative. Again, I'll link to those details below and above for you to head over and check them out. Now, in terms of how you get started, being super practical, there's no escaping the fact that you do need to save some money to actually invest in property. So this is not like all the other ideas where we might put in a few £100s here and there and actually get those ideas off the ground. So a big, massive con of property investing is the need for a large amount of capital outlay, okay? And there's no escaping that, unfortunately, but if you're creative enough, if you save up enough over time, or if you take equity from an existing property, there's definitely a case for you to explore investing in property, particularly if you've done your numbers and your numbers absolutely stack up and it becomes more of a passive somewhat passive investment if you include in those numbers the need for a management company to completely run the show for you. Okay, and the final point is to rent out a spare room. Now, I wanted to add this one because I wanted something that absolutely, the people who have properties can in some way gain access to. I know not everybody obviously has a property, but I wanted something that offered a bit of a balance. So the other ideas I mentioned before, you don't obviously need a property to access those ideas, but this idea is one that I hope that, for those who don't have money for a deposit, but they might have a spare room, this might be an idea to explore. If you have a spare room, you have the rent a room allowance, which at the time of making this video stands at £7,500 per year. So you can earn up to that without actually paying any tax. Now, I mentioned that because I've done this, in the past, before I got married and so on. This is something that I actually explored and saw as a decent way of generating an income. Although it might be slightly inconveniencing if you're someone who's got a family, but I've known this to be quite a reliable way for people to generate an income, provided they've got somebody who's trustworthy living within their property. So pros of this is that it's a good way to generate reliable income on an ongoing basis. It's something you can start straight away, provided you've got a spare room. Cons of it is that you have to deal with the hassle of having somebody else in your property, and you do have to pay tax if the income you receive from renting out that spare room does exceed that annual limit of, at the moment, £7,500 per year. Guys, that is it. That felt like a bit of a marathon. Hope you enjoyed me walking you through those 7 different passive income ideas, okay? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What questions do you have for me when it comes to each one of those passive income ideas, okay? I know it's challenging to get started, but I'd love to give you as much help as possible to actually get going. So jump in the comments and ask me, because I've got practical experiences of each and every one of those ideas, and I'd be more than happy to jump in the comments and guide you as best as I can, okay? If you really enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to do me 2 favors. Please share this video with just one other person who you think might get value from this particular video. And the second thing I'd love is to please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Every single one of your subscriptions really does matter, and a huge thanks to every single person who has subscribed and supported our channel so far. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care and bye for now.